When did music enter your life on a personal level?
My mom said I came out playing, so I think that's pretty personal. I started playing when I was about 5 and started playing like in the church. I was about 10, somewhere around in there, 10 or 11, playing drums. And my folks were wonderful, and even my family actually. Everybody let me play, which is, nowadays there's like, no, people are like, drums, oh my gosh, everybody starts plugging their ears and everything, but, it was actually, I think probably also for me is because I was like musically, gifted with that. And so they probably didn't hear what most people when they start out kind of calling it like banging, so that's probably, what, attribute to family not like going like, so yeah. My dad plays trumpet, but he doesn't really play trumpet too much anymore, he's older and, the lip is the first thing to go with trumpet, so, and he plays upright bass now, and it was actually fun because my dad and I got to play in a college jazz ensemble, improv, at College of the Canyons, and that was nice to get a chance to play with my dad. My mom, gospel tambourine. I know I got my rhythm from my mom, gospel tambourine, so yeah.
Is there a memorable person in your youth who inspired your music?
I give my gift, God the glory for my gift, for sure. From that point, I had a really great music teacher when I was in junior high, Les Hirschberger. And I learned a lot from Les. And that just basically was just, how to like drive and move forward and just kind of, just keep working on your craft,
Can you tell us about your diverse performance history?
As I got older, I would need to have, be more versatile. And by doing that, I was able to, it's paid off because I'm able to work in several different bands and different genres of music. Actually, coming to San Diego, I actually wasn't known coming to San Diego as jazz. I actually came to San Diego about '93 in a band put together by a trumpet player, Prince Board, which actually I was working with the drum line back in Canyon Country, and that's, he heard that I can play drums, and, it always stuck with him, and he, grew older and graduated and moved to San Diego. He went to San Diego State, and basically just put together this group, and his thing with the group is he wanted to fuse funk, hip-hop, and jazz. So the name Phaz came out of that, Phazz, sup P, and so he, put this together, and he was kind of struggling a little bit to kind of get the jazz flavor with the hip hop and the funk all blended, together the way he heard it. One day I got a phone call. I'm teaching drums and doing my thing in Canyon Country. Center Creative Valley now it's called, and and he was like, hey man, he's like, are you interested in moving to San Diego and playing in my band? I need a drummer. And I was like, I'm thinking, what? So I was thinking, and I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was working, I had day gig, taught at 2 different high schools, I had all this stuff going on. I was helping my dad, all kinds of stuff. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I wasn't like really fully playing all the time like I do now, which is what I do. So I was like, yeah, why not? I wasn't really doing anything. I was teaching and stuff, but not in that realm for me. I had my own band and I was doing gigs and stuff like that, but I still, like I said, I had like day gigs. And so, yeah, so I moved out here and the first, besides Prince, like the first people that were in his band that I played with that are still, some of them are here. They went kind of went away and come back. But Anthony Smith, which is phenomenal vibist, as well as a pianist and a composer. And then Ken Dow, which is a bass player, great bass player. We call him Diggity Dow. Let's see, we had Christopher Lee, which I don't know what school he's at right now, but he's, teaching, doing the same thing, music. So it's just been really great. It's been really fun, and that basically got me versed where people started hearing, hey, he's not just a straight jazz drummer. He's like funky, he's like hip hop. They can hear some different elements. And some of the songs even had some Latin flair. So people that were listening to the group at the time realized that, hey, this guy's playing some different things. And so I did that for years, and then finally started making my move into Croce's. And I met, he's no longer with us, but the great saxophone player, Hollis Gentry. And Tim McMahon was playing drums with Hollis, and they had a really good group. And, I asked if I could sit in and play. It kind of, hey, I've been playing in LA, I've had my own band, blah, 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 yada, yada. And, Hollis was, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, he said, those are Timmy's drums, if Timmy says it's okay, you can play. I go, Tim, hey, can I play? Yeah. Tim's like, sure, yeah, go ahead. And I sat in, started playing at Croce's, and then it was kind of like, whoa, I can play some jazz too. And it just kind of snowballed, and, next thing you know it, I was doing all of the different, clinics and different things that were available at the time. I was playing with Mike Wofford's trio. That kind of really started opening me up more to people kind of starting to realize that I really play jazz. But I also was working from San Diego State. I started working with some of the faculty. I wasn't even going there, and I winded up playing in the faculty band for some concerts and things. So, yeah, so God's good. I mean, that's just, just been blessing me, and more, and people are like hearing that I play every day. Like reggae, I do calypso, Brazilian, music from Argentina, straight ahead bebop, combo. I did big band for 6.5 years. Stu Fisher's big band at College of the Canyons. Stu was the older brother of giant jazz artist Claire Fisher. And so with that, I learned a lot from the salsa stuff. Claire Fisher's Morning is something that's in the real books, which a lot of people know. I actually played with Claire a few times. And so, just everything just kept snowballing. I mean, I was getting well rooted, working in that big band. I got to work with singers, and got a lot of training from Stu about how to work with vocalists, how to play behind a vocalist and how to, work with the time. And that moved all the way into here, working with different vocalists that were here, and being on several different projects. Got connected with Kamal Kenyatta, which is a phenomenal musician, two-time Grammy Award winner. He's Gregory Porter's producer, has been. And that guy is just so into different musics and different cultures of music, and just hanging with him for as long, probably 27 years now. And just being a part of his orchestras, whatever he does. He always includes me on everything. A lot of people got to see me playing with Kamal, and Kamal's diversity of Brazilian music and all these other different styles started kind of probably making people realize that I also play even more than just hip-hop, jazz, funk things. So, yeah, it's been great. So.
Have you always had a natural ability to teach?
So teaching-wise, when I was in junior high, I already kind of was taking that leader role, of being able to work with people. Actually, when I got to high school, Canyon High, I became, along with my best friend Mike, and, when you have best friends, nobody wants to push anybody out. Mike Creo. What's up, Mikey? He's in Georgia now. But Mike, great. He was more technical. You know, he could play, you know, read the rhythms and everything really good. And I basically just remember everything. You know, it's just my whole thing is like, because I didn't have lessons and stuff, so I wasn't really schooled like that. But I could listen and hear back what I heard, and I could retain it and play it back, even a whole, you know, chart. You know, when I got in, I think 11th grade or 10th grade, basically had to take over the drum line, and Mike and I basically, I was playing quads and Mike was playing snare. And we basically had to run the line. We didn't have any, you know, drum instructors or anything. Excuse me. We did get a guy, which is a phenomenal drummer. His name was Steve Wilson. And he basically just took Mikey and I under his wings and just started, like, you know, teaching us, you know, kind of just from watching him really, but just teaching us the kind of stuff that it would take to have a good line and, you know, have a top line and that kind of a thing. So by the time I basically graduated, I took over the whole line and started writing all the music, scheduling the rehearsals. It was Canyon High, and that was probably somewhere around 1985. And just started, you know, working with the drum line. And that's how I really kind of started getting the experience of working with, you know, well, they weren't much younger than me, but I got that experience of working with younger students and just, you know, having knowledge of being able to, you know, learn how to work with people in different situations. Because, you know, one main thing about teaching is everybody has different personalities, so you really have to concentrate on their personalities and how can you bring out the best in them. And so, you know, I've been fortunate and blessed that I haven't really had to deal with too much of like somebody that I felt like I had to really like kind of get at them or something like that, or that I had conflicts with. Probably just because mostly like all my students that, you know, people hear me play and they're like, that's what I want to, you know, I want to go that direction, you know, and I mean, I can get you in that direction, you know, and I do it from, because I've been playing professionally for so long now, which is over 27 years professionally. I know how to like tie in materials and exercises into the real world. There's a lot of great teachers out there, but maybe they don't gig that much, or vice versa, they gig all the time, they don't have a lot of time to teach. So sometimes, you know, it's just, you know, it's trying to figure out, you know, how do I convey to a student, you know, what I want them to, you know, how I need them to play this pattern to get that kind of a sound. This sound is more usable than a book sound because a book sound is going to give you the rhythm, and the rhythm is written like this, you know. But on a gig, you know, you have to learn how to interpret this, especially if it's a swing rhythm, you know. So that's pretty much, you know, how I kind of got through just working with, you know, students and, you know, teaching people. I've had students as young as 7. I even had a 4-year-old. But I, you know, to me, it's like if it's too young, you know, I don't want to waste anybody's time or any money, you know. So it's just like, I'm like, you know what, you know, let's get him, you know, understanding some hand motions, you know, singles and doubles, and, you know, get back to me when he's a little more, you know, controlling on that, you know, being able to control those functions. I mean, 4 is really young. I mean, starting when I was 5, but I wasn't taking lessons. I always just played. And so I think right away my mom and dad and family members and stuff, they realized that I was going to be a drummer because I turned everything upside down. So my mom said, all pots and pans, they were missing, go outside, and I'm turning them over and playing them with pencils. You know, oatmeal can, that was my favorite drum, you know, the oatmeal box, Quaker. So.
Can you tell us about your history with the Rob Thorsen Quartet?
Woo! Just kidding. So Rob and I, we've been playing together. Actually, I'm not sure if I started playing with Rob when I was working with Mike Wofford, but I know when Mike Wofford had a trio, Rob did some of the gigs for a while, and I know we had Andy Simpkins and oh man, the other bass player, Bob Magnuson. And so kind of Mike kind of was using a little bit different basses as times were evolving. But I was fortunate that I got to work with all three of those great bass players, and so I can't remember exactly if that was Rob and I's first kind of thing going or not, but through that we got into doing different. We became friends, and just got into kind of whenever Rob would have something, he kind of was starting to kind of say, hey, I've got a gig. You think you can, do this gig? It's blah, 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 whatever. And kind of started to build our relationship. And it's basically just, ongoing now. And it's gotten to me where, I play in Rob's, jazz trio or jazz quartet. And I also play with Steph Johnson band, which is Rob's wife. She's a wonderful singer and guitarist. Rob is all over the map, so that was a good thing to have that relationship with Rob. And like I said, we're still, working together now and having fun and playing music. And we started doing things for schools, which is actually how we came to meet. And so it's been.
Can you tell us about your current musical projects?
Basically went through, like I said, working with Steph and Rob, and of course Steph is one of the co-founders of the Voices of Our City Choir in San Diego, and so that once again being connected with Rob and Steph, they needed drums, and I live in San Marcos, and the things for the choir are here in San Diego, so for me it's a little bit of a haul. So I basically just kind of said, if you need me, I'm down to do it. But I don't have, a lot of time to drive back and forth, for all the rehearsals and everything. And they were okay with that. So we tried to just, gather other great drummers to also be involved in the products, the whole project of that whole thing. So, but for America's Got Talent, they, asked me to do that, and so I did the. I think actually when the tune, we actually came up with that tune. We did some revisions of it, but I think I was the one of the first drummers with the patterns. I think Kevin Higuchi did it originally for the rehearsal, but the way that the song came out, I winded up, taking it, and then when they got the call to be on America's Got Talent, and they asked me to do it. So kind of what happened is John Whitlich, which is a phenomenal friend, and he just loves jazz and music really, and he basically has this incredible system in his vehicle called the Magic Bus, and it's just an incredible stereo system. And he approached me really and said, "Hey, Richard," he said, I've been going to the gigs and everything, and I just love the way you play." And he's like, "Man," he's like, "I've been looking for a project that's like just drums to display velocities, different attack velocities, as well as patterns and, nice playing, but really looking for something that would go from super pianissimo volumes up to, double, triple forte, just really some canon type hits." And he said, "I think you would, just kill it, slay the thing." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, cool." And, a little bit of time goes by, and John comes to another gig, and he says, "Man, I really think if you do it, it's gonna do something." So basically, finally, the COVID thing hit, and I'm like, okay, there's no work. I've got a buddy who's got a great studio, Valeri, and I'm like, "Valeri, this is what we're trying to do. Can we do this?" And Valeri was like, "Yeah, we can do whatever you want." I said, "Okay, well, we need 96K files and 32-bit. And he's like, "No problem. I've got full HD. We can do, as many tracks as you want." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we actually came up with this session, and basically on this session I used various different sticks and mallets and brushes and some other things to play the drums. And there's basically it's just me playing. It's basically a thing for people who have super high fidelity stereo systems. There's a lot of transients. We didn't do any like compression to like weaken the transients, and we really wanted to capture all of the dynamic playing that was available as I played on the session. So basically, the whole thing for this is to people who have these high-end stereo systems, whether they're in their car or in their house, that they would have some material that they can really test basically show off their systems to people. And so basically, that's basically what this is, what the project is. And so on top of it, I said, well, this is great, but the dynamic level is about 24 dB in between hits. So typical music, when you have a song, it goes through mastering and they level the things out. So when you play it in your car, you can play it loud, but it's never too loud or too soft for your listening volume. Well, this thing you'd have to be careful with. There's even a warning on the page about it, because it could be just a very soft little hit, and you think, I'm playing, and you're like, wow, this is not recorded very loud, and you turn it up, and then all of a sudden I start whacking away, and boom, there goes your speaker, and everybody's looking for me. So there's already a disclaimer in there for that. But basically, revelatory drums is that. And,
How have you adjusted as a musician during quarantine?
yeah, this is a tough one. I'm, thank the Lord, I have friends. And the Friends is a San Diego community. So once again, having some help of different friends have helped my family and helped me to keep up in this difficult time. We're not working enough to keep bills paid right now. So, thanks for that, for all those people that are helping. I know George Varga had just put out a little article, I think on Sunday, kind of talking about this very thing with me, questions about how to be able to kind of make it through this time. Yeah, it's tough right now, but like I said, God is good. People have been helping, calling, emailing me, saying, hey, if you need anything, food, whatever, let us know. So that's what we're needing to do right now. Yeah, the gig line is very slim. Maybe I've had maybe 6 gigs that I can say are gigs where you actually get paid since March 15th was my last gig, and then this whole thing hit. So, yeah.
What is your message for musicians in San Diego?
Don't give up. I've tried to use this time to better myself, working on different, using some different books, books like I have a big library of drum percussion, books, studies and things, and just trying to, further myself, my ability, to be able to play, to be able to teach, by, getting as much information as you can. It's sad that some people during this whole time have been so depressed and low about everything that's going on, and that they're just kind of not doing anything, or not doing enough to stay rooted and even mentally and physically, to stay healthy. Stay positive. Always try to better yourself. Education helps better yourself. If you don't know something, I always say Google it, but dive into trying to further yourself with knowledge. Practice more if you can. Spend more time with your family if you have a family. It's difficult to try to do group gatherings, with friends, but maybe go online. Try to study, through some online lessons. just, as best you can, just try to stay positive. And if you feel like for some reason, you're feeling really down and low, I'd say talk to somebody, find somebody. There's a lot of people that understand what's happening, and there's a lot of people willing to help. But people can't help you if you don't speak, if you don't open up. There's many people, in my case, there's many people that have already contacted me that are willing to and want to help. And I mean, if I had kept to myself, then people wouldn't know. So.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll tell John. Maybe we can have a